Welcome back to Bob Enyart Live. I'm Greg Perry, the kinder and gentler Bob Enyart. Someone sent me a fax the other day. It was really funny. I want to read this to you. It's, we here at Bob Enyart Live, you know, we want the best life possible for you. And so as a public service to our audience, we want to provide this test for you. And you can administer this test in the privacy of your own home if you feel led to do that. The test is how to tell if you're a liberal. And it's really important that you know something like that. You know you're a liberal if you defend the public school monopoly, but you send your kids to private schools. This happens all the time. As a matter of fact, some of the staunchest defenders of public schools, I find, are people who send their children to private schools. It happens all the time. An incredible percentage of public school teachers, and I use that term loosely, send their kids to private schools for very good reason. I mean, they want to protect their kids. You know you're a liberal if you are a pantheist who has modified his personal credo to assert that God is in all nature, except tobacco, of course. You know you're a liberal if you think the Republican Congress is more evil than the Chinese communists. They're not. I mean, they're not more evil. They're not. They're not as smart, but they're certainly not as evil as the communist Chinese. You know that you're a liberal if you think $50,000 for coffee in the White House sounds like a fair price. Of course, coffee prices have been fluctuating a lot lately. Maybe that's the price. You know you're a liberal if your name is Heather and you have two mommies. Some of you may not get that, but that's okay. It's actually very funny. You know you're a liberal if you think corporate executives make way too much money, but Barbara Streisand and Demi Moore is worth every single penny. She hates being called Demi Moore, by the way. She wants to be called Demi Moore. So that's why I always call her Demi Moore. You know you're a liberal if you think spanking children is cruel, but you think dumping kids at the daycare center is really a necessary evil. A necessary evil. That's interesting, and I know there are a lot of good parents who do use daycare. Those same parents would, you know, that it's a surrogate mom, surrogate dad in daycare. The surrogate mom hears your child say "mama" for the first time, maybe, and I would ask. In many of those situations, would you want a surrogate husband for whenever you're at work? Would you want your husband to have a surrogate wife while you're at work? Or if you're a guy, would you want your wife to have a surrogate husband at home for your wife while you're out, you know, doing your job, buying groceries, doing whatever you do? If you would say no to that, I don't know why you'd send your child to a surrogate parent. You know you're a liberal, though, if you believe that Bill Gates won life's lottery instead of working for his money. You know you're a liberal if you pale, if you just cringe at the execution of child killers, but you defend the killing of unborn children as an expression of choice. You think trees have feelings, animals can conceptualize, and fetuses are blobs of protoplasm. That's when you're a liberal. You know you're a liberal if, we're almost done here, but you know you're a liberal if you think a murderer should get only the death penalty if he hated his victim. You know, liberals, lawyers, they have all these levels of crimes. It's murder maybe, but it's not really murder. Sometimes it depends. If he really murdered a whole lot of people, then it's bad. But if he only murdered a few people, well, we need to put him in timeout for a few years and let him out, give him another chance to murder again. You know that you're a liberal if you think religious comments are illegal on federal or state property. Now, obviously, you haven't been to Washington, D.C., where buildings that were built 100, 200 years ago have Bible quotes all over them. You know that you're a liberal if you think that health care is a right and gun ownership is a privilege. You have that backwards. You know that you're a liberal if you think the president shouldn't have to testify when the economy is doing very well. You know that you're a liberal if you want to legalize cocaine and outlaw handguns. You think the cops are pigs and criminals and they're products of their environment. You think marriage is obsolete, except for homosexual marriages. You know that you're a liberal if you believe that homosexuality is genetically determined, but spouse abuse is not genetically determined. You know that you're a liberal if you don't get the point of the things I just said. And finally, you know that you're a liberal if you believe that Planned Parenthood funding in inner cities should be increased. Now that's really an interesting thing because I have a news story here that I'm going to get to about Planned Parenthood funding in the inner cities. But first, I want to go to Shannon in Indiana. She wants to ask something about my views on homosexuality overall. Line 5, Shannon, speak your mind. You're on Bob Enyart Live with Greg Perry.
All right. I was just wondering, Bob's and yours, what you guys stand for, period. I mean, for anything, because, okay, you're against abortion, which is cool with me. So am I. But,
That's good.
I mean, he's homophobic anyways.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't really understand that.
Yeah, Shannon, whenever we heard everything you said, but speak up a little bit when you talk for the rest of the call, if you would, please.
All right.
I would ask you, you said that he's homophobic. Should he hide who he is?
No.
I was born homophobic also. I found out, as Bob did, that a lot of my friends and family are homophobic, and we're proud of who we are. We came out of the closet years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you think we should not be who we are?
No, I was just...
Okay.
I don't really know what I meant.
Okay. Let me ask you something, Shannon. If someone could demonstrate to you that homosexuality is very destructive, not only to themselves, but to children, to society, to their families, would you be opposed to homosexuality?
If they could prove it was destructive?
Yeah?
Yeah, if they could prove it was destructive, I probably would.
Okay. Did you know that the average homosexual dies 30 years younger than normal people?
I kind of figured that.
Yeah. Why do you think that's the case?
Cancer?
Cancer? No. Good guess, I guess. It's
Well,
not cancer.
They can get cancer easier, but it's not like lung cancer or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Do you mean maybe AIDS?
That too.
Yeah. They really die 30 years younger than normal people because of suicide rates, alcoholism, drug abuse. It's rampant in their circles. And also, 40% of all children who are molested by homosexuals. But if only 10% of the population are homos, that means a lot of them are doing it. We'll talk to you later, Shannon. Thanks for your call.
I got another question.
Okay, hold on.